Okay, guys, welcome to Storytime with Sean, episode number 11. This story is called Rescuing Princesses. And here it is. Marcus had always dreamed of rescuing princesses. He spent his younger days thinking about princesses while training with cool weapons. He became quite a skilled warrior and a handsome gentleman who was very suave. He began to travel the universe in search of princesses to rescue. Besides just wanting to rescue princesses and generally being considered a hero, as he got older, he realized that princesses were usually very rich, and if all things worked out very well, they were ready to marry you after that rescue. Sadly, all that time spent training, he forgot to actually look into any sort of research about princesses out there in the wide universe. See, monarchies weren't really popular anymore, so their distinct lack of princesses. Also, there exist schools for wealthy families to send their kids to learn exactly how to rescue princesses, so there's usually stiff competition. Still, after Marcus learned that princesses weren't so easy to rescue, he faced forward with optimism, which is really weird for someone in their 20s. Marcus logged on to SaveOurDaughter.net, a website where people can host profiles of their kidnapped children. Bad guys love to ransom off the children of rich families. And because sexism is still a thing, in species where gender is also a thing, the bad guys typically go for the girls. This website was set up because the space lawmen weren't often able to handle this kind of stuff, and people wanted their kids back ASAP, and they didn't give a good goddamn who brought them back either, just so long as the kids were safe. The postings were fairly sparse recently, as most rich people with children had learned to teach them how to defend themselves with space martial arts, or upgraded them with cybernetic gun arms. So bad guys were really struggling out there, and getting their asses handed to them very hilariously by 10-year-olds. Marcus went to the section of the site devoted to specifically kidnapped princesses. He started to scroll through the pages of kidnapped princesses, seeing that nearly all of them were marked rescued. He was about to give up, but then he stumbled upon a page that was so old it was covered in cobwebs. He blew on his screen to get rid of them and saw one unrescued post. Sure, it was ancient, nearly 6 hours old, and long forgotten to the internet, but he decided to take a chance on it. The reward wasn't so great, but he just really wanted to do some good and rescue a princess. Marcus put his ship in gear and flew to the planet Craphole 97. There were a lot of really crappy planets out there, so people just decided to use this simple naming convention, because no one really gives a fuck. As he approached, he radioed to the royal family of the planet that he intended to rescue the princess. Yeah, well, that sounds splendid. You do that, and you can have dinner with me, the king, where you will have the traditional meal of my people, brown stew. Oh, and I guess you can have this Subway punch card. It has 8 out of 10 punches, so 2 more sandwiches, and you get a free foot long. Now get to work, mighty hero. The king speechified at Marcus, and then hung up. The whole operation wasn't looking as glamorous as he had imagined. As he got closer to landing near the castle, someone called to him over the radio. You are entering restricted airspace. If you do not alter your flight path, I will have to shoot you. And I don't want to, so go somewhere else. Yeah, but I'm the guy rescuing the princess. Can't I land at the castle? Marcus queried. Nah, man, you aren't allowed here. Not until after you rescue the princess. Royal orders. The voice retorted. Any hints on where the princess is? The page online was really lacking in details. Marcus hoped for literally anything at this point. The royalty didn't seem like a good group of people, to put it nicely. Oh yeah, she's over the desert tower, which is directly west of the castle. It's the only tower in the desert. You really can't miss it. Unless you're an idiot. The voice said helpfully and insultingly. Marcus flew his ship out to the desert in search of this desert tower. It wasn't long before he found it, and it was really easy to find, as it was nearly a mile tall. As he circled the tower, he saw the princess leaning out the window dejectedly and knew what he had to do. He landed his ship near the tower and approached the door, which was, much to his surprise, open. He walked in, expecting to be met with deadly traps and darkness, but instead found a nicely lit entrance hall with many side rooms, sweet paintings of dragons being rad, and a nice big elevator. Deciding this must all be a trap, he decided to go with the stairs. He ran up as fast as he could, which was impressively fast. All that training to rescue princesses had really paid off. About halfway up the stairs, he found a landing, with a young lizard girl sitting at a table with a sign that said, "Lemonade, 1 space ducat." He paused and handed the girl the cash while saying, "I'll take a lemonade, please." He sat on the landing while the girl told him about how each space ducat she raises will help her Girl Scout troop afford a trip to space camp, which is a summer camp held in space, not a camp to teach kids about being astronauts. After about 15 minutes, he thanked the little girl and gave her another space ducat, just to help out, and began to run up the stairs again. Eventually, he reached the top, where there was another open area with an elevator and a few doors. One door had a sign on it that said Princess's Room, so Marcus figured that had to be the one. He slammed his shoulder into the door and broke it down. A cry of joy was heard, quickly followed by, "And who the hell are you? Don't just go barging into people's room like that. This is a private place. You know what I could have been doing? You must be some kind of asshole, huh?" A very angry princess said to Marcus. "I've come to rescue you?" Marcus asked in his confusion. "Oh, my dad sent you. Well, that's just great," the princess sighed, and then yelled out the window, "You can't fucking tell me what to do, Dad!" Like her dad could hear her from that far away. "You don't need a rescue?" Marcus put his head in his hands. Damn, my lifelong dream had been to rescue a princess. "Well, that sounds stupid. I bet a lot of princesses can fend for themselves, or are actually kidnapped and didn't just move in with their boyfriends," the princess replied. "You know what? I think he's almost home. So let me show you what you were going to rescue me from." She offered him some cookies and introduced herself. Her name was Kathy. They chatted a bit while waiting for her boyfriend to come home. It wasn't long before he was there at the broken door. "Yo, babe, what happened to the door? I brought you flowers. I wanted to tell you how totally banging you are." A draconian man stood at the door. "Yes, that is right. Half dragon, half human hybrids exist in the universe, because of course dragons exist in the universe, and of course someone got busy with them at some point. Babe, who the hell is this? Bro, what are you doing in my girl's bedchambers? This is highly unorthodox, dog." The draconian finished in his semi-intellectual bro speak. After a brief explanation, they invited Marcus to have dinner with them, and offered a much better option than brown stew, which is just as gross as it sounds. The draconian introduced himself as Kyle, and explained their relationship, which was quite healthy and stable. Kathy explained that her dad was a cheapskate, and kind of a jerk. No one really liked him, but no one also listened to the royal family anyway. One day, she had had enough and ran away. She met Kyle at a kegger, and they fell in love. The two decided to live in his totally bitchin' desert tower for the rest of their days. They gave Marcus a tour of the place, which included a home theater, a fully stocked kitchen, and a totally bitchin' hot tub. There were also places for other people to live in the tower, being as big as it was, so they could party with their friends and all that. Overall, it was a pretty sweet gig. And guessing from the offered subway card, Marcus assumed the castle was a lot worse off. "Well, bro, you ain't rescuing any princesses today. Why not stay for a party, have a brewski, meet a lady, and then go adventuring in the deep, vast void of space?" Kyle suggested. "Yeah, I guess that's as good as things are gonna get for me today," Marcus said, only a little bit saddened. Kyle and Kathy organized a hell of a rager, which got understandably out of control, and that's just how they liked it. Marcus headed out the next day, very hungover, and as he flew over the shitty castle, he opened his spaceship's window and threw up. Then flew away into space in search of an adventure that wasn't as stupid as rescuing a princess. The end. Hey guys, thank you for listening to Storytime with Sean, episode number 11. The story was Rescuing Princesses. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a little more fantasy-esque, but whatever. I like mixing fantasy and sci-fi together because people travel through space or do whatever, but, you know, fuck it, why not? Anything can happen. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about it, so please leave a comment or, talk to me on Twitter or, like the Facebook page or something like that. But I really appreciate you guys listening to this. It means a lot to me. Um, and, thanks for that. Otherwise, um, I'm just going to keep going with these as I like to do them. I think they're fun. If you guys have, I don't know, a suggestion or a prompt of some sort, I'd love to hear that too. But otherwise, I've got my own stories to write, I suppose. Um, but yeah, thanks for listening, and I hope you guys come back to listen to the next one. And that you subscribe to my channel, because there's other stuff on here too, but, whatever. Do what you like.